Right, what's that?
Our favourite animated episodes, part 2.
Part 2.
Okie dokie. So, last week we talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Beetlejuice, Batman, Batman the animated series, X-Men the animated series, and Gargoyles. And
And I always love that part of music where Glass climbs.
yeah. Now, as you can tell with this list, is obviously not a favourite. Actually, after we should probably do our favourites, but this is not a favourites list, as in the best to the worst. This is just a list from the years it was made. So now we're on to 1994. There's actually quite a few from 1994. We've got Gargoyles. The next one we've got is Aaahh! Real Monsters.
That was a dope show.
I love that show.
That was
Is
so
this
good.
Isha's?
Huh?
Is this yours, Isha?
Yeah.
I have to ask, who's your favourite character?
It was the one with
Yeah,
the
he
two
was funny.
eyes, and he held his eyes.
Crumb.
Yeah.
Crumb was sick, yeah.
I
Do you know what?
loved him.
Crumb was a
He
bad
was, man.
influence, you know.
I know, that's
You
why I
know
liked
why?
him.
Because I would purposely not shower because of Crumb. He was such a bad influence.
Oh my god, I loved him, and he was just they were all great, but just it was like when that first came out, and I was like, okay, cool, this is brilliant. Like just monsters coming up and just scaring people. And then when Monsters Inc. came out, I was like, this is basically if Aaahh! Real Monsters. This just a good version of Aaahh! Real Monsters, basically.
They kind of
But I
stole
was
the
like,
idea, kind of thing, man.
I feel like Aaahh! Real Monsters is them in school, and like Monsters Inc. is when they go to start working, they enter the workforce.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no,
go on.
Aaahh! Real Monsters it's just been great. Like I think I can't remember the episode like offhand. I should have like actually redone it, but just Crumb was obviously Crumb was my favorite. Like he had his eyes. He was just bare mysterious.
Sorry. Do you remember his dad lost his eye, so he would wear a black glove to say that he was blind in one eye?
He was great. He was just great, and he's always sniffing himself. He's like, yeah, I'm fine. And he just causing bare trouble. Like he's like you said, he was the worst influence, the instigator. And you'd never think like whenever there's a character like that, you always think of him like as the dopey. Oh, let's do that. When he was the one, like everybody was like, oh, just do this, and he was like, why don't we do this? Yeah, no, that's a good idea. No, yeah, we should do that. It's a bad idea, but maybe if we come up through the toilet and then they vomit on the child. And then, like, I can throw my eyeball at them, and then that will scare them and their parents. Like, that's a weird. It's like he put ideas into other people's heads and be like, no, that's a good idea. We should do that idea. Come, let's do that idea. Like, I just love the whole ethos of it, and it was bad. It was just bad. There was nothing good about any of these characters, even though some of them tried to be good. It's just there was nothing good. They were just monsters, and I just loved that they were monsters, and they were dirty and disgusting, and I just loved it. Like you can kind of tell what kind of like cartoons are like. They're like fucked up.
No, but that's the thing. I think during this year, during this time period, we had loads of effed up cartoons, like real monsters.
Yeah, we did.
Even like Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy was terrible.
Ren and Stimpy. I feel like Invader Zim was the last of those.
That's one I didn't. That is one I didn't watch.
The reason you missed out on that one because I think I started watching that one when I turned like 18, 19. So I was like coming behind. But Invader Zim was the last one. But we had so many like that. We had Ren and Stimpy, Aaahh! Real Monsters.
The Beavers, Angry Beavers.
Like back in the day, Nickelodeon had the grimy. Nickelodeon was known for those grimy cartoons. If you wanted grimy cartoons, you go to Nickelodeon. And I think it's such a shame, like having a kid, and like they do it on purpose. Like cartoons are so soft. Look what they did to Teen Titans. Look what they did to look what they've done to Thundercats. Look what they've done to She-Ra. Like they're really trying to make kids soft these days and
bring back Nickelodeon.
But anyway,
bring back
Nickelodeon. Classic.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was your favorite episode? Sorry, go on.
I can't remember my favorite episode, but I know Crumb was involved and he was doing a madness. But I just remember him coming out of the toilet.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I just remember him coming out of the toilet and I just loved him. Like I just love him, and I just love everything he does. But no, I love Real Monsters, and I like the fact that it's called Real Monsters. It's not like we got to call it. You have to say Real Monsters. Like
the actual intro was Real Monsters. I loved. Do you remember? So their currency was toenails. Not fingernails. Specifically, human toenails was their currency.
Yes, and they used to collect bits. Oh my god, I loved it. I remember
there was one episode. They had come up a toilet, and they were in someone's house, and this person just collected toenails. Like he would cut his toenails and keep them in the jar. So they're like, "Oh my god, we're rich!" So they stole the toenails.
No, I love that show. I definitely.
Yeah, I did too.
It was just one of those ones.
It had some real shit as well, because like you got Crumb, who's like, I think Crumb, his dad was supposed to be like a dropout kind of character. So the Grumble, is it the Grumble? Yeah, the Grumble didn't really check for Crumb. He thought that he was going to be just like his dad. Ickis, his dad was a legend. Ickis, little one that they used to call
the blue one. Yeah.
He was his dad was a legend, so they expected so much. From Ickis. And I always remember in like the early episodes, he was like he couldn't even grow big, but later on he became quite like a scary monster. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah.
I love her lips. She just used to turn her lips.
Yeah. She used to be funny, but I liked her, man.
Yeah. She was like the genius of the crew. She was like one of the smartest girl in class, and she would just always pass all her exams. And do you remember when they would get detention, they'd have to go to the I forgot. It was just this giant monster. You'd hear about him, and then when you finally see him, it was just this big monster with like a bumblebee guy with like a foot coming out of his mouth. And like all he did was sing opera. That was detention.
I feel like this was like Harry Potter before Harry Potter mixed with, you know, like when in Beetlejuice the movie, when they had to do all those scary things to like scare people out there. It was kind of mixed with that. So it was like before all of that started, like Real Monsters like had that kind of intention. It was just
like people born, say maybe in the mid to late 90s or even the 2000s, because I think 2000s kids would be 20 right now, right? So if they're only 2000s kids, you missed out.
Yeah, so bad.
You might be like, oh, you guys always say that. No, the 90s and the 80s were the best. You missed out. You got regular show. I'll give you regular show and Adventure Time. But besides that.
Oh, and something Creek with the brother and sister. That's not bad. What's
is that one of the latest one? I know which one it's with the black family, isn't it? They play cards. I know what you're talking about.
No, and there's another one with the two siblings, and they go to like a cabin with their uncle, and
Gravity Falls. Yeah, that was sick.
Gravity Falls is a good show. Sick.
And if you watch Rick and Morty, I really think you should go back and watch Gravity Falls as well.
Gravity Falls is a good. But that's like a niche kind of unusual thing, and it's a little bit like, oh, okay, we're doing a bit more. Funny
thing is, Gravity Falls would fit right in the 90s back in the Nickelodeon. When I found out that cartoon existed like in around this time, I was like, what? Okay,
it's a Disney show as well,
and that's the thing, it's Disney. It's like
so is it on Disney Plus then? Oh sweet. I'll watch it then. Oh sick.
Definitely watch it as well. If you watch obviously it's not going to be as grimy as the shows back then, but it's
not bad.
It's a cartoon that has a story, which a lot of cartoons just don't do these days. They have no story. It drives me nuts. Just watching an episode for no reason. It drives me
Gravity Falls is kind of like the new age of kind of grime, if that makes any sense. I know we're getting into grime, but no, our Real Monsters I think just set a precedent, and Monsters Inc. took all of that, and I wish it's like obviously you're never going to get that from Pixar, because Pixar have to be nice and lovely, but just to have monsters that are actual monsters and are happy to be monsters and are growing up to be the horrible things that they are, but to them they're just normal, collecting toenails and boogers and what I mean, and trading them on the black market is great. So if you get a chance to watch Real Monsters, I love Real Monsters.
All right.
Next one is this, because man, we do go on these.
So,
I know. I'm gonna try and keep this very yes. Go ahead.
Next one is Spider-Man animated from 1994.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
All right.
Rich, go
so
for it.
Yeah, because I got some notes on this one as well.
Okay, so my favorite episode was The Night of the Lizard. The first episode. The reason why is because I'm a visual guy, and the first episode, the animation was perfect. The way Spider-Man moved, it was sick. Like.
We had never seen him move like that in anything.
We'd never seen him move like that in anything before, and I feel like until I think it was when he had the fight with Dr. Octopus, maybe that we didn't see him move like that since. One scene that I really love is when he's fighting a lizard, where he's by the Connor's house. The lizard is by the Connor's house, and Spider-Man catches him, and they have that little fight by the tree, and Spider-Man's trying to take pictures of him, and
because he needed to get the pictures.
And there's one scene where Spider-Man's web slinging between a tree, and you see the camera move, and the way he just is talking, and the way it stops, he thwips, the web shooter goes out, and he's just that little animation there was perfect. The way he moves, his stance and everything. So that I love that. And from that episode onwards, I still love the series. I still love the show. But I felt like I didn't get that again, if you know what I mean. I didn't get that style. I didn't get that pilot style again. So for me, the story was good as well. Even the way it started with him on top of the gargoyle, him going down, shooting down, going down to the car that's lost control. He's cracking jokes. He saves them. That whole episode for me was like pretty much perfect, and was like, yeah, Spider-Man. This is his back. His back is better, and he's looking sick. Honorable mention would be the Venom, when Venom came in. That was a sick episode, and I remember I was recording it off a bit of piracy here, but I was recording it off Fox Kids, and
no, it was on Sky One.
Was it on Sky One?
It was on DJ Cat.
Are you sure it was
It was DJ Cat, bro. I remember back we didn't have, when you were bringing it to our house on where we lived on East Street, by your mum. Fox Kids wasn't even a thing back then. I remember when Fox Kids came out.
Yeah.
So it was.
So why did I watch it on then?
It was on Sky One. It was on Sky One, and there was this show called DJ Cat, and it would show like Beetleborgs, Power Rangers, X-Men, and Spider-Man in the mornings. And you used to record it from there.
What did it come on before that?
No, that was it.
That was where it started in this country. That's where it started.
Really?
Now, I don't know for people who didn't have Sky, I don't know if it came on terrestrial TV at all, but I don't think it did, because Rich used to bring it on, like he said, he used to record it and bring it over, so I don't think it was even on TV. You must have been either watching it on tape, Isha, or you had Sky.
So
probably. I might have had Sky.
So the one thing I did, and I got pretty good at doing it, because I used to do this with X-Men, and a few others, we used to do this all the time. We had Sky for time anyway. I'm baiting myself out now, but
hey man,
it's where you're recording a program, and the commercial comes on, and you got to pause it at a right time.
You pause it,
and then when it comes on, you got to unpause it,
press play. Because remember, you'd borrow tapes from people, and they would record the ads. Used to drive me. I think you were the first person who I knew who did that. So when I borrowed tapes from other people and they recorded the ads, it used to drive me nuts.
Because we only had like tapes that were. It was like 4 hours if you recorded long version, or 3 hours.
Oh, version 6 hours on.
Yeah, on long play and short play is 3 hours. So you can either do 2 films. You can just about get 2 films. If it's one of those dirty those films that were 2 hours long, you're effed. So but that particular episode, with Venom. Yeah,
Venom.
And because I remember when it came off when it was the last scene before the advert, he was hanging upside down on the building.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it paused it, and then it came back, and it's seamless, man. It was so seamless. I was so proud of myself then, man.
See,
look, you remember doing that. You're sitting. I remember them days. You're sitting at the TV waiting. You can't go nowhere. You can't quickly go make it because you can't miss it.
Nope.
Sick, man. Sick.
It's too funny.
See, look, Rich was an editor from then. Should have known. Like, there you go.
So
that was commitment right there.
Right.
Go on, Kieran. Go on.
My favorite. Now, you went in on like the animation and the way he moved. One of the reasons I love this show, I'm a bit of a softie, so this show had so much emotion to it, like crazy emotion. So my favorite 2 episodes. Yeah, he knows where I'm going with this. My first favorite episode is Turning Point. This is when the Green Goblin realizes that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He's using the time dilation accelerator portal thing. And I always remember this slide. He forces Harry and Peter aren't talking because Harry feels that Peter stole Mary Jane. And Norman Osborn invites all Harry's friends around, and Peter's like, "Oh, Harry, you invited me." It's like, "Yeah, my dad said I should." I don't know. And then it's like, Peter Parker. Now the party can really begin. He shakes his hand. He's like, "Oh." It's like, he crushed my hand if it wasn't for my Spanish friend. And then throughout the whole dinner party, Norman Osborn is just baiting Peter Parker. It's like, "I bet you two have been conspiring and to get together for some time." I'm like, who conspires? Like, that show really showed how insane Norman Osborn was. Like, his mind snapped. Who conspires to get together? Do you get what I mean? And like, Peter Parker realizes that Norman Osborn knows who he is, so he takes his web cartridges, throws them in the fireplace. Boom! Explosion. God knows how he's going to explain that to the fire department when they're like, "Oh, there seems to be some sort of webbing in your apartment." Anyway, they get into a fight. Norman Osborn kidnaps. How does it happen? I'm just going to skip to the bridge. They're on the bridge. My favorite and another favorite line is like, "Now, let's try this tango again." And then they're rocking it out. Mary Jane, for some reason, is on the bridge. The time dilation accelerator portal thing is flipping around, and Mary Jane falls in.
As she does.
That scene where it's like, the Green Goblin is just laughing. It's like, "You think this is a game, Osborn?" It's not.
He goes ham on it,
I love that scene. Yeah, that was the woman I loved. You're about to know what that means. And he's just like that. And it's like, and then he's like, the voice actor who plays Peter Parker Spider-Man is just the best. To me, he's like the he is. To me, he's like the Kevin Conroy. No one else can do it as good as him. And the way his I love his no. And then like, so he beats up the Green Goblin gets sucked into the portal, but then he's like, he sees Mary Jane fall over the bridge. So he's diving and he's like looking for her, and he's like, he can't find her. So help me, I can't find her. The emotion in that episode, like I felt that I don't know how old I think I was single digits. I feel like that cartoon taught me emotion, like, because I wasn't seeing that in He-Man.
I think the only thing I would say that, because I know what episode you're talking about, and it kind of did upset me in a sense, because one thing that I didn't like about the series was that it had Mary Jane and not Gwen Stacy.
Stacy.
So that scene on the bridge, I was like,
because that was it was a parody of,
and she didn't fall and break her neck. She went through the time thing as well.
Well, the thing about that cartoon, which I learned as I got older, and when I learned it and went back, you couldn't punch.
Yeah.
So you would see Spider-Man kicking people a lot, and they just wanted it to be. Just the thing is, I was just complaining earlier about how cartoons these days are soft. That cartoon managed to be soft but still be hard.
They worked around it.
Whereas cartoons nowadays are just soft. And Spider-Man cartoons now, like, don't talk to me about the latest Spider-Man.
I'm kind of interested because they got a lot of the stuff that's happening. Like they got the Carnage stuff. They got quite a few things that's happening, but it's not.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Thing with Ultimate Spider-Man, that one had potential. I remember seeing the trailer to that one, and me and my brother were so excited. And then we saw it, and it was like, "This is mad childish. It's so kiddie."
Yeah.
And then there's few episodes. Like I've watched a few sagas in that show, so it's not that bad, but it's still nowhere near the '94 cartoon. And Spectacular Spider-Man was better than Ultimate Spider-Man. The current one, I watched quite a few episodes when it started, and it's like they were so focused on having. So we've got Spider-Man. Now let's have a Spider-Woman. Now let's have another Spider. They went. It's like they were just too focused on having Spider people.
Yeah.
And I feel like because Marvel Comics did Spider-Verse, everybody just wants to do Spider-Verse.
That's what they're
doing. And you don't
now.
know why you're doing Spider-Verse as well. Like,
exactly.
There's a reason why there's a Spider-Verse.
Yeah, there's a reason why, but it's
not like there's like a local, Sainsbury's locals all over the damn place. There's a reason, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's. Yeah, I get what you're saying. No, it's a bit.
But so I get why you don't check for that one, Rich. But that show just took me emotion. My second favorite episode, so I want to try and keep this brief, is Hydro Man Part 2. Another emotional episode. Like this one.
Yeah,
I shed tears on this episode. I've literally shed tears on this
episode.
I felt
bad
for
I'm
watching it by myself.
Well,
that's the thing. It wasn't even the real Hydro Man. It was a clone. So when he was going around saying we're made for each other, you then find out Mary Jane has hydro powers. And you're like, wait. I remember watching that for the first time. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
How are you going to explain this? Why can she do that? Why the hell? And I didn't know that they were going to do the clone saga. But anyway, that's the whole different thing. That episode where just this one scene, the one scene where Hydro Man is even his emotion was brilliant. He's like, no, if you could do it properly, you should have never done it at all. And he's like, you know what I mean? That was sick. And then he disappears. And he's like, I love you, Red. Like he really did. It was sick. It was sick, malicious love, but he loved her. It was crazy. He just couldn't get over her. FYI, there was an episode of the Fantastic Four, the 90s cartoon, where Hydro Man was in it.
I don't know if you guys
remember that. Anyway, I remember that.
You are the library.
I was connecting the dots from day.
If we ever do a trivia quiz, and
you're coming on it, man.
Who remembers? I'll be like, I'm just looking. Yeah, I'm just looking at you. I'm looking at you for certain things and just look at. That's it.
But anyway,
go ahead.
So Hydro Man is now disintegrated, evaporated. Sorry, and then it's like Peter Parker sees that and he looks around. It's like Mary Jane, and she's like, oh! That scene where she basically said, if any part of me was anything like the real Mary Jane Watson, she loves Peter Parker more than anything in the world. And it's like, no! And the place is flooding, and it's like, he lost her twice. Twice.
Sad, man. Peter Parker, man, he never catches a break.
That Peter Parker...
Never.
They don't, man. They don't.
I have to say, thinking about it now, the latest movie where it feels like everything's coming up roses and sunshine. He's got the girl, he's beat the bad guy, and then Jameson comes on TV and exposes him. That is the Parker luck in true tradition.
Just when you think everything's going good for you, it just F's up, man.
Yeah. But it's so Peter Parker, and it's just like...
I love that scene in the movie, by the way. Sorry, I'm just gonna it aired, and you just see it like, what? Like that was proper comic book form, like in his Marty. What? Like you just had.
That's the thing. Like even with the pilot episode, the animation, the artwork looked more like why am I forgetting? I had his name in my head. McFarlane kind of. It looked really like McFarlane kind of artistry there, but. Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man animated is probably the best Spider-Man animated show. It is the best.
I also have
it is
which is the Six Forgotten Warriors, when they introduced the Wizard, the Black Marvel, and blah 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 blah, and Captain America. When Captain America steps out of that portal. And just tackles the Red Skull. Oh my days! I was so excited, like shit.
Nice.
So yeah, that's my favorite 2 episodes, and Six Forgotten Warriors is definitely my. And again, it was really, really hard to pick because like
there's too many, and I actually got to re-watch them as well, man.
Watching them as an adult is brilliant. I have to say, really
I know. Going back and watching some of these shows, like I really do. I think you've said this before. Like I really do appreciate just all the adult content in there, but with the childhood, like it's almost like they were thinking ahead of like, we know that these children are going to be adults, and we still want you lot to enjoy everything that we've been teaching you. And learn some more things as an adult when you rewatch this. It's like
that's I know it's a bit out of the context of what we're talking about, but there's this podcast I listen to called Shat the Movies, and that's the kind of thing that they do as well. They do like a subject, and you got to choose like different movies in this subject, and then they'll go back and rewatch the movie. But the movies that they do are all like 80s, early 90 films. So it's films that we know about, films that we would have watched back in the days, like Groundhog Day, Ghostbusters, all our early films. And they would rewatch it, and they'll just talk about it in the context of now and how it is back then. They'll give you a bit of history about what was going on with the production, maybe if there was something going on, and it's just watching it with new eyes and seeing what they could get away with then and what you can't get away with now, and them just having a real honest thing about it. And sometimes it's like that with these cartoons as well. Like when you're watching them again, like you said, back then we didn't realize that you couldn't say murder, kill, and all this. But then,
they would always. I was thinking about this just the other day. They would always say destroy. Yeah, it was always, and I never understood.
It's like, they're not going to blow them up. I mean, when I think of destroy, I think of something being blown up into smithereens and stuff.
Yeah, something being smashed or something. Or baseball bat. Let me destroy this.
But it's like a new appreciation when you rewatch these, and that's one thing I'm loving with. Well, I've started to watch the old Amazing Spider-Man, the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I started rewatching that. So, I really appreciate it.
I love getting up in the morning. It's funny. The cartoons that we grew up on, to my memory, they were on at like prime time. But if you wanted to watch something like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, you had to go
early. Oh yeah, you had to get 7 o'clock.
Mad early to watch those.
I was there with a bowl of cereal, cold milk, cornflakes. Let's do this. Like it was no joke. It was a religious thing. Like it was a religious thing.
I remember we tried to get out of bed, and my mum's working. She's like, "Go back to bed." I'm like, so we're like in bed. Has it been long? Get up now.
All right. So next one. Okay. 2001 is one that I picked. Is Samurai Jack. Now, I got two favorite ones here now. So if you don't know, Samurai Jack is about a samurai who got pulled into the time stream because he tried to kill this god called. It's pretty much a god called Aaahh. Cool. Actually, the intro says it really well.
The intro is probably one of the dopest intros to a cartoon ever. It should definitely probably be in a
top 10. Definitely.
Like a top list. If they did top 50
intros,
that should
be. We need to do that later.
This is what Samurai Jack is. Long ago in a distant land, I, Aaahh, the shape-shifting master of darkness, unleashed the unspeakable evil. But a foolish samurai warrior, wielding a magic sword, stepped forth to oppose me. Before the final blow was struck, I tore open a portal in time and flung him into the future, where my evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return to the past and undo the future that is Aaahh. Right.
I have to say, well done on the voice acting.
Yes, well done.
Samurai Jack, this is like I think this is. It's very hard to say. It's this and X-Men has got to be my favorite animated series to date, man. Yeah.
Damn. Wow.
I just love the concept of it. I love that every episode is it's a kind of a mix of what we had when we was young. Not everything was serialized, but everything kind of is serialized with Samurai Jack. So every episode is different. He meets different people, meets different surroundings, but he's still doing the same mission. And what they did a couple years ago, because they did this series. I can't remember what it finished up on back then, but then they went back and finished it. It's a bit like Clone Wars, where they went back and did the last series and finished the story. And I'm telling you, man, I cried at the end of this. I cried at the end of this.
It was painful.
Again, it was one of those shows that just has heart.
And if there was any movie or any kind of dream movie or series that I would love, it would be this. This is my favorite, perfect story kind of thing. I would do something like going into the past and going through the different histories and different stuff in the past. But I love this concept, and
you know, I'm glad you got that. You got that with Samurai Jack, because I loved Young Justice season 1 and 2. I don't know if you finished them. And then we got it back, and it wasn't even the best season, and it's like it was just a bunch of kids on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's what season 3 was.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got it. I really am.
Yeah, Samurai Jack, my favorite series. It was hard to choose an episode.
I know what my favorite one is.
I've kind of got two. The first one is Samurai versus Samurai. I love the look.
Yeah. Is that with the robot? That robot samurai?
No, I don't think. No, I'm sure I got the right one, but this one was where it changes to black and white. And you got Jack in white, and you got his evil side in black, and it's just the black and white silhouette, and they're fighting, and just the animation, the look of it, it looks amazing, man. It looks spectacular. And then you've got the Jack and the three blind archers.
Oh yeah, the dogs on the top of the
that one was sick as well. And I love the concept of him trying to get to the tower, and there is a just like as soon as,
and they're like moving around like trying to listen for him.
As soon as he steps out, they shoot. So he has to try and be one with the surroundings, and it's
Samurai Jack's a good pick, man. No, I'll just to interject on that. My favorite episode, just because it's fucking funny, is him and the Scottish guy.
The Scotsman is
hilarious.
Funny.
I was gonna say my favorite episodes was any episode that had the Scottish guy, and I love that they met, and at first they were like these kind of rivals, and then they became friends, and then he's in other episodes. Oh my god, it was so funny. And then I think they were on the bridge, and he's like, I cannot get through, and he's like, but I must get through. He's like, no, but I get to, and they're just having this. He goes, yes, but I need to get through because I have to go to the other side, and then it's just hearing Jack kind of getting rolled up. It's like it was almost like him and the Scottish guy was the only person that could rile him up. Yeah. You know what I mean? To where he's shouting, he's like, no, but I have to get through. No. And he's just like, bro, I've never seen Jack like get angry like that before. And then two tunes that happened again afterwards. It's like, it was hilarious. Sick, and when they were fighting, they were fighting like those ladybird things, and you know what I mean? The Scottish guy's got his leg. And I have to say, two things on the voice actors. First off is Phil Lamar.
Yeah.
No, he's coming afterwards, not because I'll come to that. Phil Lamar, I didn't realize there was a black guy playing this Japanese.
Oh, I loved it.
And he did it so well. And Phil Lamar is one of my favorite voice actors. I think he played Green Lantern in Justice League. And he was in the Metal Gear Solid 2 as Drebin, and his catalog, like, look up Phil Lamar, he's a dope voice actor. And then, as Rich was about to say, R.I.P. to Marco, because Marco,
His voice sick,
his
man.
voice is it's so sick. Iconic. It's so dope. And like, by the way, he played Uncle Iroh in Aang the Last Airbender as well. He
was in Conan the Barbarian as well, man.
Yeah, Marco was he was just brilliant, and I was
Rest
really
in power, man.
I was really upset when he passed, man.
Yeah,
and he did Aku well.
Yeah,
you know what? When you said R.I.P., when they released the latest season of Samurai Jack, I completely forgot that it wasn't even him.
No. But in remembrance to him, though, obviously I wish it was him, but still, season 5, the last season of Samurai Jack, it was, like I said, it's a bit like Clone Wars. It's like they know what we want, and they know the end. They know the end that they should do, and they did it with not to say that we want. Like we know exactly what's going to happen. We know exactly what's going to happen. It's just the way that you do it. We know that Sam has. We know that Jack has to get back. We know that he has to defeat Aku. But what are the consequences of that? Yeah, going back to Clone Wars, we know that the clones are going to turn. We know that Vader's Anakin's going to be Vader. But how does that story happen? How are we going to get to that? And that's what really pees me off with the movies. It's like, we know, don't do something like Rian Johnson where that's correct fan service for me. Like Samurai Jack and Clone Wars, that's the correct fan service to do. And do it in the right way, not just giving it to people and saying, "Oh, you already guessed what the ending is." Just here you go. Yeah, but do it with a great story. And like I said, this is one cartoon that I pretty much cried at the end. And sick.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Even the end under the cherry blossom, the ladybird. I was like, hot, ouch.
Do you know what? Because I think about time travel a lot, and I don't know if it's because like Back to the Future is my favorite trilogy. If I'm honest, I know a lot of people around our age will say Star Wars, but mine is Back to the Future.
Well, they don't have time travel in Star Wars.
No. Just
okay.
When people say
but
mine is Back to the Future. But going back on time travel, grew up watching Back to the Future and a whole bunch of time travel movies, and just comic books. You think about this stuff. Even like you're watching the Arrowverse, and they're doing like time travel all the time and crises and shit. Getting to my point, when I was watching the final season or even the final episode where he takes it, he's about to marry that girl. What was her name again, sorry? Aaahh. I was looking at it, and even as emotional as it was, I'm sitting there thinking, she's going to disappear. There's no way it doesn't make sense.
No, but that's the thing.
Unless she exists out of time.
If you realise, it took time, man. They took time.
Because
it did.
He got back.
And you even saw that she actually met his mother, and him and his mother had a thing as well. They was checking out the dresses.
They clearly had a life together.
Yeah, and then you was like, she's gonna disappear. She's gonna disappear. But what they did is that they made you think that she isn't gonna disappear right until the point that she was.
Done really clever.
It was done really clever. But it made you think
painful,
though.
man.
It made you think like, oh. It could. The time that they left it. It was like, she might not disappear though. It might just be happening. But just when you thought that, bam, she's gone. Yeah.
That was painful, man. That was painful.
It was.
That was so painful. But it was brilliant.
Painful to see her die, and it was painful to see the last episode of Samurai Jack because you know it's not going to come again. But they do have a game coming out soon. So
I forgot about that.
we said this in another podcast. Yeah, we did. We were like, we're playing that game. We'll be playing again.
Definitely. I hope Tones and Biz plays that game as well and do a review of that game. Let us know what you guys say. How it is. Cool.
Okay, what we got? What else we got? We got like 8 more.
No, we've got 3 more. Next one is the same year as Samurai Jack. This one I personally missed, and I keep hearing good stuff about it, especially through Karen and his brothers. Invader Zim.
Oh my god!
Oh, I know what my favorite episode is.
Oh my god!
Can I go with my favorite episode? Right.
Go.
This cartoon got cancelled because kids. See, this is what I'm saying. If this came out in the 90s, we would have got like 5 seasons. But because it came out in the
2001,
just missed the cut.
Yeah.
Just missed the cut. Kids by then were soft already.
Yeah.
And there was this episode called Dark Harvest, which is just the best. So Dark Harvest is basically, so we've got Invader Zim. He's this alien from the planet Urkin, and he was sent as an invader to take over Earth for the Urkin Empire. And the people who run the Urkin Empire are the tallest. The reason they're called the tallest is only because they're taller than all the other aliens. And that's it. I would hate to think what would happen if a kid is born and it becomes taller than them. Because I guess by default, that means that it rules. Anyway, in Dark Harvest, there's this other kid called Dib. And Dib is the only one who can tell that Zim is an alien. So they're on the playground at school. For some reason, Zim likes to go to school.
He's trying to learn about human existence in school. And
they're at school, and kids are playing with a ball, and the ball, I think a ball hits one kid, and he's like, "Ow, my spleen!" And then the ball hits Zim in the stomach, and he's like, "Ah, my squidly spooch!" and then Dib is like, "Didn't anybody hear that? No human being has a squidly spooch." So
I might be over here just laughing. Go ahead.
So then they're in class, and Dib makes a comment about Zim not having human organs. So Zim's like, "Okay, fine. Then I guess I just have to get some organs." So he goes around the school, and he's just taking organs from kids around the school. And
he's amazing.
And then
he's amazing.
Dib is like, "You can't possibly think this is gonna work. You look disgusting. You've got too many organs." He's like, "Foolish Dib human. More organs means more human." Like, his logic is so dumb.
Oh my god, no, Richie!
I do want to watch this. I need to watch this.
Oh my
and then there's this one scene where he coughs, like he literally coughs, and he just rolls out some like an intestines out of his mouth, and he just has to roll it back in, and he swallows it yo.
Oh my god, Invader Zim is amazing.
It was so funny because he had to go at the end of the episode. He has to go to they're in class, and I forgot why Zim was sent to the
principal's office.
Sent to the nurse.
Oh yeah.
At one point, Zim puts something in Dib when he takes Dib's organs, and then the nurse is like pressing Zim, and she's like, "Oh, so many organs! No, such plentiful organs! What a healthy human boy!" Sends him away, and then Dib has to go to the nurse's to the nurse's office because he had head pigeons.
Head pigeons.
Because he had a pigeon on his head. It's like the teacher's like, "Dib, go to the nurse's office. You got head pigeons."
It's so stupid, but it's great.
It's so great. It is so great. Like you have to watch it. Trust me, it's really, really good.
Oh my god.
When she tests Dib, he has like this. You know those toys where you turn them upside down, they like make noises, like they go mrrr or whatever. So he had one of those inside him because Zim took his organs. So when the nurse puts the stethoscope on him and she hears mrrr, she's like, "Oh my god, it isn't human!" And boom, episode ends. Nothing was resolved. Zim just has all the organs.
Oh my god, no! They invaded Zim, and can I just say, honorable mention of Gur. Gur is like the best.
Gur is like,
thing. It's like I like hugs. I don't want, and then he might fall on the floor and he'll be walking with his head on the floor and he'll be like, I just want to have to touch.
There was this, I think it was the first episode where they're going to Earth and Zim is just doing one of his long monologues about doom, and then Gur's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sing the doom song," and for ages
Oh my god!
And like I used to have that as a ringtone. People used to give me the funniest looks. I remember I used to work at I'm not going to give the shop any play. I used to work at a shop, and one of the managers, she was pretty cool. I was walking behind her to go to the office for something, and my phone rang. So all she can hear was.
I'm getting that right now.
Like, I'm like, yeah, I know. But that was my ringtone for years, man.
Oh my days! No, like, yeah. Just if you haven't watched Invader Zim, I know Rich, you're gonna be watching. If you haven't watched Invader, watch Invader Zim. Even watch the movie.
I was gonna say a good start.
So what is the movie? Is the movie like the pilot or?
No. The movie is just a continuation of where the show left off.
No, I want to watch the show before that. Yeah, I want to watch.
Watch the show. It's brilliant.
It's really good. It's like, and there's
so
many characters, and it's a shame it got cancelled because kids are soft. Because apparently that episode that I just told you about gave kids nightmares. Apparently.
How?
We grew up on that show. If that was in the 90s, that would have just been the episode. Yeah, just standard. Like, we watched Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy?
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know? There was an episode of Ren and Stimpy where they went into someone's ear and were taking out earwax and then did some madness. Yeah. And you know the happy joy, happy joy, like that madness.
That's messed up.
Oh my god.
That was just that to us. Normal. To us, Invader Zim was just another Saturday morning.
There you go.
To these kids, it was like, oh my god, mommy, I'm scared. I'm like, you punks, man.
Yeah, look at this.
I'm not.
Grow a squiggly bean thing.
Grow. Where's your squiggly spoon?
I think that should be the title.
The name of the show.
Where's your squiggly spoon? Yeah.
I don't know how you're spelling this, but I'm here for it. Like.
I'll figure it out.
All right.
Oh my god. Okay, what's next? Oh my god, that was brilliant.
Next one is the last Airbender, Avatar.
I'll be
which now is on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix?
Oh,
it is on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Whole animated series is on Netflix now.
Right. I'm going to be brief. So my favorite 2 episodes were, the first one is The Storm. The Storm is a brilliant episode. I haven't watched it to kind of recap, but I'll just kind of tell you what it is. Throughout the show, you know that Aang, basically he was this monk who was frozen in ice for 100 years, and he was the Avatar. He was supposed to learn all 4 elements and basically save the world from the Fire Nation. Because he went missing, he was frozen. You wonder, why was he frozen? Where's he been? And people are asking him, where have you been these 100 years? The Fire Nation has basically colonized the whole planet. We don't know. You were supposed to be there to help us. And he's only a 12-year-old boy. He's 112 years old. I think by season 3 he's 113. But anyway. And there's this scene where they go to like this. They meet this fisherman and they want to get some jobs so that they can just get some money. And the fisherman guy's like, "Wait a minute, are you the Avatar?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am," because he's like a cocky kid. He's like, "Where have you been? You let us down." And he really felt bad. So he basically ran off. Ran off, and then he tells Katara, his love interest. She's like, don't listen to him. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And Aang's like, actually, he's right. I did abandon everybody. And it basically, now, there's another character. You don't realize this until you get to this episode, but that show is about 2 characters. It is about Aang and Zuko. They're the main characters. And it shows you, and every other, and I'm Rich, when you were watching, you were saying it was silly. This is where it gets serious. It still has silly elements, but this is where the show gets serious. And it just shows how Aang, I actually don't want to spoil it for you too much, because I actually want you to watch it, but this shows how he became the Avatar, what he ended up having to give up, because he was like the most popular kid at his temple until, and he actually, in the beginning of the episode, he's on his air scooter, which is like, I love that as well. He taught all the other kids at the temple how to do that, and then he became the Avatar. And then he goes back to see his friends, and they're like, "Oh, you guys have picked it up really well." It's like, "Yeah, we even made a game for it." He's like, "Oh, cool, can I play?" And they're like, "No, because you're the Avatar, we don't think it would be fair if you're in either team." So his friends basically abandoned him. And he only had the one friend, which was his best friend, was like this monk called Monk Gyatso, the guy who trained him. And,
sorry, sidebar. When he was like, you must eat, onions. He's talking about onion soup. He's like, onion soup is nice, good for you. It helps cleanse. He's like, It was onions. Like, I just love that interaction with them too. Like, it's just,
yeah. Monkey Arts, his relationship with Monkey Arts was sick, and he basically finds out he's become the Avatar, and everything changes. He's not allowed to hang out with Monkey Arts anymore because all the elder monks feel like that Monkey Arts was babying Aang. His friends won't hang out with him, and Aang is just a boy. He's 12 years old. He just wants things to go back to normal. And then the monks take him away, so he decides to basically pack up and run away. And he gets caught in a storm, and then he had never gone into the Avatar state before. He just found out he's the Avatar, but he goes into this Avatar state where he can harness all elements, and he just freezes himself, and he's just lost in the ice for 100 years. On the sidebar, it's showing us Zuko's story, because you're seeing him as like this antagonist who's just a little shit of a kid, but he was actually a sweet kid. He was like, that's the fire his mom, guy, right? His dad, he's the one who's chasing him. He's got his mom, his dad, and his sister, and his sister is just pure evil, pure unadulterated evil, and his dad loves his sister, but obviously he's the eldest, so he's like the heir to the throne. And he asks, and his dad is about to have like a war conference, so he asks his uncle Iroh if he could join in the conference. He's like, yeah, come and sneak in with me. And then he finds out that his dad is basically going to sacrifice some soldiers, so he speaks up against his dad when you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. So his dad hated him. He did. His dad had no love for him in the first place. He used this as an excuse. And basically, in the Fire Nation, they have this thing called an Agni Kai, which is called a fire duel. And his dad said you because you spoke out, you have to fight in an Agni Kai. So he's like, fine, I'll do it. But he didn't realize he had to fight his dad. So he's like, Dad, I'm not going to fight you. You used to fight his dad. And then his dad is horrible. Ooh, quick sidebar. His dad is played by none other but
Nope.
Right.
Plays his dad. Yeah. Also, Mark Hamill played the Green Hobgoblin and Joker.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you the
Such a good Joker.
So his dad is like, you will learn discipline, Zuko, even if I have to teach it to you myself. And he burns him. He burns half his face off. A 15-year-old boy. And then he banishes him. He banishes him from the Fire Kingdom, says, you can't come back here until you find the Avatar. And the thing is, as far as the Fire Lord was concerned, he knew he basically gave Zuko an impossible task. Because the Avatar's been gone for 100 years. He thought, this guy's never going to find the Avatar.
About that time, he comes out.
And then at that time, he comes out of hiding. So then Zuko wants to go home, and he makes it his mission to find the Avatar.
Yeah.
Now,
that's pretty sad, man.
That's that episode. It is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm all about those emotional episodes. Yeah. Wait, one more episode. Now, my second favorite one, Zuko Alone.
Zuko's a bad boy. She's just banging. That's just great.
Zuko Alone was a dope episode. This is when you start to see that Zuko is teetering on the edge of good and bad. He's gonna go on the dark side, or is he gonna go on the light side of the Force? And he basically he decides to leave his uncle by himself because he just wants to he's got this internal struggle going on. Rich, you know what? Please watch this show, because when you find out.
No, I said to you guys before, because I did start to watch it, and it did seem slow to me. And even Danielle watched the episode, and she was giving me weird looks. But I
feel like Danielle is the portal of like, if she watches.
No. All my life, I don't watch Spooch.
No, I know. But for me, it was like, it was too slow for me to watch right now. So what I said is, because I think she was still pregnant at the time anyway. I said I would watch it with Cass. Yeah. Cass watches. He actually likes Rebels. He watches it.
Oh, by the way,
he's a 90s baby.
By the way,
if it's 2020.
Your mum sent my mum the video of him dancing to Michael Jackson. Brilliant.
I only said that the other day.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I taught him.
Brilliant.
Well, Michael Jackson's teaching him how to dance, but yeah, he loves music now, man.
Thing is, when Michael
He's
Jackson
a 90s
died,
baby.
when Michael Jackson died, I promised that I would teach my son about Michael Jackson. And my son loves Michael Jackson, so ratings for that.
You need to.
You have to.
Oh man.
So anyway,
so cute.
going back to Zuko alone,
Mm-hmm.
he decides he wants to separate from his uncle and just go on a little thinking quest. And he ends up in this town. This episode is very much like a cowboy western. It's sick. Is this guy who rose up on I don't even know what the animal is. In this show, they've got weird animals. They've got like crossbreeds of animals, like armadillo bear or you know what I mean? Sorry, sidebar. There's this one episode where they go to the Earth Kingdom, and the Earth Kingdom has a bear, and they're like, "What kind of bear is it? Is it a platypus bear? Is it an armadillo bear?" And then they're like, "No, on here it just says bear." And they're like, "This place is weird."
Yeah.
Anyway, he ends up in this town, and he makes friends with this little boy, and there's these Earth Kingdom, are they Fire Nation? No, Earth Kingdom soldiers that are just basically running taxes, running game on this town. So Zuko is kind of like, doesn't want to get involved. I'm not interested. But then he likes the little boy, and the little boy's family takes him in and feeds him. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll help. And this episode is quite sad as well, because then he decides to fight. And Zuko's a G, because not only can he do like his firebend and stuff, but he has these swords, these kind of two broadswords. Yeah, broadswords that he uses as well. And he fights the two Fire Nation guys, and he's starting to lose. So then he gets pissed off, and then he starts using his firebend, and he beats them. And then it's like, they're like, "Oh my god, who are you?" It's like, "I am Prince Zuko of the Fire Nation, heir to the throne." And then one of the guys in the town is like, "Yeah, I've heard about you. You're dishonored. His own father burned and disowned him." And then he goes back to the little boy to hand him something. And he's like, "I don't want it. I don't want to have anything to..." Basically, that same boy that he made friends with is like, "Oh, you're Fire Nation. I don't want to have anything to do with you." And the whole town is back. And I'm like, "Oh, this episode is just..." I'm telling you, Zuko's story, like, Aang has a great story, but it parallels with Zuko. It's such a great show.
So how many seasons? It's 3 seasons, but it branches out to a different show as well, right?
Yeah. It branches out into Legend of Korra. I like Korra, but it's not as good as...
Is Korra Aang. Another character in this then, yeah?
So Korra is not in the story with Aang. Korra is born 70 years after Aang or something like that. Aang dies and then...
Oh, right, okay.
She's the Avatar. There can only be one Avatar. There's, actually, I think in Korra they actually do like 2 avatars at a time. Right. But it's very interesting how they do it. It's very clever how they do it. But every time an avatar dies, a new one is born. So Korra is the avatar after Aang. And it's weird watching Korra, because you see Katara, you see Toph, who's like part of the original Team Avatar. But it's weird. And then Aang's son is there as an adult, and it's like weird that these guys are there, but Aang isn't there. Do you know what I mean? But
it's like 20 episodes, I think. They're like 20
I think it's like 20 episodes, but it's like they're a breeze. And one thing I like about this show, there's one episode that's filler. You know it's filler. It's like an episode. It's like playing an RPG and they go on a side quest. It's exactly that, but it works so well. Do you know what I mean? And I remember one episode of Korra where they're doing the main story, and then they had to go on a side quest. I remember me and my brother were like, "Yes, side quest." On that episode.
Hate side quests.
Mate, I'm on loads of side quests at the moment, man.
Yeah, when you're playing an RPG, RPG, you get used to side quests. So when one comes up in something, side quest.
Alright, so Avatar, The Last Airbender, 2005.
That's it.
The last one is The Clone Wars, 2010. This one, like I said, I've already spoken enough about it this episode anyway. But my favourite episode was episode 10 of season... What season's the last season? Season 7. It's called The Phantom Apprentice. This one was amazing, because this one was... it was around the same time as Obi-Wan, after Anakin killed Sidious, and so yeah, Darth Sidious it has been Ahsoka.
That's alright.
Count Dooku. That's who he killed. Anakin killed Count Dooku, and this is basically at the middle part of Return of the Sith.
Sorry, hang on a sec. Count Dooku doesn't die in the movies, does he?
He does.
No.
He does.
I watched the
it was right at the beginning of the Return of the Sith. I think it is. Revenge of the Sith. Sorry,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. Right at the beginning, because they kidnapped Sidious. They kidnapped what's his name in it? Palpatine. Yeah. And the thing about
is that the one with?
what's that? Is this the one with? So in the animated Clone Wars, you actually see them get the call that Darth Sidious that Palpatine has been kidnapped by Dooku. So she talks to Anakin just before he goes off, and she's kind of peeved because he's kind of always going to him. Kind of nothing else matters. When something happens to him, they always run off. But this happens. This particular episode, the Phantom Apprentice, is I can't. Well, we all know he's still alive anyway. It's Ahsoka versus Darth Maul, and they're on Mandalore as well. And mate, this fight was mwah, mwah.
Someone needs to do a compilation of all like the Star Trek Rebels and like Clone Wars fights. Like,
they brought back Ray Park as well. Just so you know, they brought back Ray Park, and they did the motion capture on him and the Ahsoka character as well. So this fight looks amazing as it is, and I think the thing that makes this particular episode my favourite one is because this is kind of like the accumulation of everything coming together, and it was kind of like it you know what's going to happen, but just the realization of how it's happening and why it's happening, and there's certain things that's been building up throughout the whole season, throughout the whole series, and it's kind of come to this point. And I just think the whole story, the music, the soundtrack to it was done perfectly. So this has to be my favourite episode. But then the last episode came out as well. So
that may be eclipses it. Just
I think you got to watch the 4 of them together. So there's 4 episodes of them coming together. So you've got Old Friends Not Forgotten, The Phantom Apprentice, Shattered, and Victory and Death. So yeah, I'll definitely recommend. If you're not going to watch all of it, then watch those final 4 episodes. But Clone Wars,
like a mini movie, 2-part.
Sick.
No, I think tonight I'll give Black Lightning a rest.
Yeah,
please do.
I'll watch. No, I think I'm Black Lives Matter tonight. So I'll watch some Clone Wars instead.
Definitely.
Watch some Clone Wars.
So what episode are you on at the moment?
15 or 16. The last one I watched was actually pretty dope. It's when they were on that planet of pirates.
Pirates,
And then Jar Jar Binks had to save Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they... No, it wasn't that one. I've watched one after that. It's when they're on that planet. Sorry, it's a different one. It's when they're on the planet with the little people that look like lemurs, and they don't want to get involved in the fight. And
I can't remember that one. They're all so bunched up
together.
I binged that like an MF, man.
I'm on the later part of season 1, so if I binge it tonight, hopefully I can get to season 2 tonight.
Speaking of the end.
Yeah.
The end of the show, people.
Thank you for sticking with us, because it's been 2 hours and
8 minutes now.
13 13 minutes. It says
that's how long we've been.
Oh, maybe that's when the chat started. Yeah. Less then. Well, thank you for joining us. It's been fantastic.
I know. Every Wednesday, 7:30ish. You know, as Rich will tell you. You know, make sure you come. You know, and get a hoodie. You know, or a t-shirt or a little cup or some socks. The swall. You know, say however you like. Teesprings, Teesprings, and get your 20% off.
The sauce
20.
The sauce exactly. 20.
The sauce 20. Get that 20% off. You know what I mean? While you're in quarantine, help us out. You know what I mean? Jump on our Patreon. Give a little Patreon a go. You know what I mean? You know, stick some money in there, and we can, you know, update the system. There we go.
A studio that says the sauce wall on the back.
Yeah. Or has the source wall in between things that you're not supposed to forget the next time you come to watch the show. And what's that? You're just smiling. You're not going to say it. You're not going to say it.
Don't forget to bring a sandwich.
Yay! Don't forget to bring a sandwich.
Bring a sandwich, man. I'm telling you every week. Don't forget to bring a sandwich.
Don't forget to crust and all.
Crust.
Yeah.
Crust. And it's just
love and peace.
Thank you,
Thank
people.
Peace out, everybody.
Girl, love you.